Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about rendering. There's a few things we have to talk about. So the lovely thing about single level animation is you get to render it in colors, and those colors boil. That's the expression we use, boil. So what makes them boil is that we put the color down in each page, and in each page the color is different, and so that sort of difference is shown, and it looks like the color is alive in itself. Funny enough, we really don't try to do that when we put the color down. We try to put the color down in a very, very solid, systematic way. We flick the paper to make sure that it doesn't flicker too much. It's actually the camera that finds the fault, if you like, between the colors and makes them boil. So, first thing maybe first would be to tell you about the work itself. Let's look at a 12 field. So that's our standard 12 field. I hope you can see that. Right. Now rendering is such an intensive work. You're colouring in the whole 12 field that would take a long time. So you work inside it. You work inside a 12 field. You can work at 5 field if you like. So you go inside. So I don't know if you understand how fields work, but you've got lines across here. Right, so here is 12. Halfway through, which I'm not quite sure is about here, is 6 field. So this drawing I've put in here is roughly 6 field. But this would be about, I don't know, 10 field. So we work inside this space. And we leave the space out because that's just extra work. Why do the extra work? Okay. Another thing you should know about rendering is the concept of what an edge is, So we think an edge is a black line, so I'll just draw on a circle there or whatever. So I'm thinking that that's a black line, that's an edge. So it isn't an edge. What that really is one color meeting another color. That's what, there are no edges, there's no black marks like that between a tree and a sky in nature. So what it is a black mark like this coming beside a white mark. And that's the edge. Likewise, I could do it, I'm going to show crayons here. I could get a red mark here. And I put a black mark, blue mark here. And now the edge is here. When one color meets another color, you get an edge. This is black meets white, you've got an edge. I did show it there. And here you've got an edge as well. So that's worth thinking about how this system works. So when you're working in this style, you tend to draw your objects quite light, which can be difficult for line testing, but nevertheless, you don't want black lines. Having said that, you might want a black line. Some people like black lines, and if you want to use a black line, no one's going to stop you. So what kind of materials can we work with? Well, crayons are very often used. These wax children's crayons are used. Colored pencils are used. These are colored pencils. Markers are used. Pencils. Graphite sticks are great. You can break graphite sticks up. And what you're trying to achieve with these things, pastels, you can get pastels and Contes. What you're trying to achieve with these is a system of your own, a style. It's like you're a stamp and you're going to stamp every picture down. And the way you have to do that is to develop your own style. All I can do is show you my one. I did this in a studio called Moving Still for a few years. I made a few ads and stuff. I participated in some ads. And I developed a style of rendering like this. Short little... I'm going to do it thicker now because I don't think you can see it. So I'm a little anxious about that. So there's... And then I'd add on to it and I'd fill in whatever we're doing. I'm going to use something darker because I don't know if you can see that. So you can see I'm trying to put it down evenly. So there's the same intensity, it's a little darker there. And then I try to put it here. And then I try to put it in. So what I'm trying to do here is make a deliberate mistake, and I'm not doing it, so I'm going to try to make it obvious. What you've got to be careful of is you don't get this laddering type effect here. Maybe I should do it with a pencil. So that's my style there. I tend to put it down in small little stabs. But what you don't want to do is start getting mistakes like this. You know, more darker spaces here, more lighter spaces here, bits of white coming in. You don't want to do this type of thing. Okay, and then I'll do it on the other page. You know, you don't want to be doing this because all this, the camera will really agitate and find this. Remember, when you're putting it on one page, it's like animation. You know, you say you have a little circle here, and you have a little circle here, and you're filling it in. You try to fill it, oh God, I'm going over the edge. Try to fill it in with the same intensity on the second one, which I'm not doing. I'm getting rid of these. So when you flick it, it kind of looks the same. Now I can tell by flicking this that it's not looking the same, which is a shame. So what you do is just keep practicing and practicing until you develop a signature of your own, where you start avoiding laddering effects or getting big white marks in. There's a whole bunch of different tools you can use. You can use, I'm going to try this marker. It's a lovely tool to work with markers. It came through as the other one. Something you've got to do too is, oh no, I'll just go through the different things you can use. I'll leave this here. There's a Conte pen, Conte pencil, I should say. Okay, and then you have a nice yellow soft, that's yellow soft pastels. The problem with soft pastels is it becomes chalky, and then the chalk can go everywhere, and you don't want that. So colored pencils, markers, Contes are a little stronger, but you know they've got that fingerprint thing. You can see it on my fingerprints already. Graphite sticks, stuff like that. Now, graphite sticks are great for toning. I'll just do one more of these. So toning, okay, basically you should, you know, do a bit of a test somewhere on this test piece of paper and soften it down a bit. So, no, I didn't do it. Well, anyway, so you're toning. And with toning, you can try and get light because you can lighten things up a bit. So you can go from dark to light if you want to, because when you tone a drawing up, you're acting like a lighting camera person. You're looking at where the darkness should be and where the brightness should be, and you're moving the lights around to see where it is. And then the idea is then you can put your color down very simply in one easy way, and the blackness will show through where it's black, and when there's no blackness, there's no. Maybe you guys should try this at home. I'm looking in the camera here, and it doesn't look like it's coming across as strong as it should. So perhaps I should have graded that a little easier. Take off the edge a bit. So you can move from dark to bright, and you can use the graphite pencil as toning. So I'll show you examples of toning when we're looking at stuff, as we will be over the next couple of weeks. So basically it's shadow, it's where the light isn't, and stuff like that, and it gives you this very, very strong lighting effect in rendering your work, to the point where, you know, where if you don't use it, that's okay. You tend to find that where you don't use it, you tend to get very kind of childlike illustration, kind of storybook kind of quality. Whereas you do use it, you get a more, like I said, lighting camera effect. Of course, with markers and stuff, it's very hard to do it. So it really just works with graphite sticks and colored pencils. it can work with what's it as well. In fact, that looks quite good, I suppose. With pastels, it can work. Okay, so the other thing I haven't told you, which is worth telling, is you have to make a cushion. It's already, I notice it's happening here. I have a line through this piece of work, and you can find that you can see it coming up in the rendering. So you have to cushion your work. You have to have a fairly clean surface, and then you put loads of paper, about 5, 6, 7 sheets of paper, to give it a cushion. And the cushion also kind of creates a nice sort of traction for it as well. And that gives it a nice bite, as they say in the business. So you have to 5, 6, 7 sheets underneath the sheet you're working on. You find a signature. There's my signature, Steve, which I'll do every time. So similarly, my signature in rendering is I have this short little burst thing that I do as I fly through the page, or when I say the page, 7th field of the page, about half the page. There's a smudge coming through there. Now, a director in a scene like it depends. You know, you're going to see some of the films I show you are going to be fairly rough. You can live with that if that's the style you have and that's the style you want. But you should train to try to be machine-like and try to get it. So, like for example, when I was doing the pack shots in the studio I was in, a little bump like that, the ad director would go, "No, that one won't work. Do it again." It's very, very tight like that. I think that's all I really want to say. I just want to do it in front of you. It's just try and get an edge. Crayons are great for it. And try and get it down. I've seen people do it in big sweeps like this, you know. People can do big sweeps. And I'm getting white here. That isn't good. But for the most part, that isn't bad, you know. Could live with that. So it's just about cushioning the paper, getting a signature of how to get the colour down, thinking about toning if you want to, put the tones down first if you're doing that. Thinking finding some maybe medium that you like. Like, I don't know, you know, like, did I show you the Contes? I think I did. They're harder, but they're good. The thing with Contes, of course, is you eat them up, and they're expensive, and people use oil pastels, and they can be really nice, but you eat them up, and you're going through a lot of money. And remember that you're doing this. The whole thing about this is to get a signature, so you do it quick, that each page you do looks like the page you previously did, and that it's done quickly. Because if you don't do it quickly, you're going to be making a rendered film for the rest of your life. You have to get through it very quick. Okay, with that, I'm going to call it yeah.